there, everybody, and welcome back to Whole Person Counseling, 26 Tools for 2026. I'm your host, Dr. Dawn-Elise Snipes. Today, we're talking about sleep improvement to enhance outcomes. We're going to use or learn the acronym N.E.U.T.R.A.L.S. What percentage of people that you work with, or even in your life, have good sleep habits and get sufficient quality sleep? Most of my friends don't. Most of my family doesn't. And most of my clients don't either. I think it's fair to say that the majority of people do not get adequate quality sleep on a regular basis. This very basic skill could be preventing people from succeeding in leading their rich and meaningful life. When we're sleep deprived, they've done studies and they've found that 5 hours of sleep generally isn't enough. And people who had only 5 hours of sleep for 3 or more days in a row started to show symptoms of irritability, brain fog, cellular aging, increased inflammation, and increased activation of their stress response system. That's not what we want. We don't want to be irritable and edgy. In order to get good sleep, one of the things you have to do is try to stabilize your circadian rhythms. So your body knows when it's time to go to sleep and starts creating and secreting melatonin. And we talked about that in the last video. But then once it's time for sleep and you're laying down, you have to have the ability to get good sleep. If you're a soldier lying in a foxhole, I don't care how good your circadian rhythms are, you ain't gonna get good sleep. Same thing for a lot of the rest of us. There are things that disrupt our sleep and disrupt our sleep architecture. The acronym I have is N.E.U.T.R.A.L.S. Stands for naps, ergonomics, urinating, temperature, routine, allergens, light, and sanctuary. Let's go through each one of those. A lot of us like to take naps, and research has shown that a brief power nap in the afternoon actually can increase norepinephrine levels, our focus chemical. But what they're talking about with a brief nap is 10 to 20 minutes, not 2 hours. When you sleep or take a nap that is longer than 30, maybe 45 minutes, your brain actually starts to get into a full sleep cycle. You don't want to get into deep or REM sleep. You need to stay in that light sleep phase or you're going to mess up your circadian rhythms. Therefore, limit naps to less than 45 minutes. By the time you lay down, close your eyes, doze off, if you get up 45 minutes later, you're still within that safe window. This is not true for children. Young children need a whole lot more sleep than adults do and older children do. However, for teenagers and older, reducing the length of your naps to less than 45 minutes is super helpful. Ergonomics means sleeping in a comfortable setting, a comfortable position. If you have a bad pillow, that's not going to help. If you're cramped up because the dog has taken 80% of the bed and only left you 20%, that's not going to help. If you've got a mattress that is super uncomfortable, that's not going to help. We need to be comfortable and pain-free when we're sleeping. Invest in a good pillow. Invest in a good mattress topper. It makes a world of difference in every area of your life when you're not sleep deprived, brain fogged, and inflamed. Urinating. I know that's not a pleasant word, but I needed it for the acronym. A lot of people disrupt their sleep architecture because they get up one or more times during the night to urinate. If you have an overactive bladder, talk with your doctor about what you can do to address those issues. If you've got an enlarged prostate, talk with your doctor about what you can do to address those issues. For the rest of us that just drink way too much fluid before bed, stop it. Try to reduce your fluid 3 hours or 4 hours, depending on the person, before your bedtime. I know I like to work out in the afternoon. When I go to the gym, it's typically 2:30. I work out until 3:30 or 4. But when I'm at the gym, I typically go through 64 ounces of water or more, which means I need to wait a while before I go to bed because I'm probably going to have to go to the bathroom. Paying attention to how long it takes fluid to get through your system is important. It may only be 2 hours for you, or it may be 4 hours, but finding that sweet spot where you cut down, not eliminate. You can suck on ice chips, you can sip water, you just don't want to be chugging fluid right before bed. And right before bed, even if you don't feel like you've got to go, try to empty your bladder right before you go to bed. That way you're not getting up in the middle of the night. Some of us still will occasionally get up in the middle of the night, and I suggest to people that they use a nightlight in their bathroom that is either a yellow color or a red color, because those two colors are much less harmful to our night vision and our circadian rhythms than bright light. If you walk into the bathroom and turn on 120 watts of light, it's going to be jarring and your brain's going to get confused about whether it's supposed to go back to sleep or not. Temperature. When you're sleeping, and we talked about this in circadian rhythms too, but we're going to talk about it again because it's that important. When you're sleeping, it should be cool. The Sleep Foundation typically says 68 to 72 degrees. I personally find that a little warm. I like it down cooler when possible. Obviously, during the summer, that's not really possible. I sleep with a fan on. There are other things that you can do to reduce the temperature of your area, of the room or of the bed, if you need to reduce the temperature more. Routine is also important. Routine is important for setting your circadian rhythms, but it's also important for sleep. Having a sleep routine, doing the same 3 or 4 things before bed each night, even if it only takes 20 minutes, your brain registers as, okay, this is what we're getting ready to do. Allergens. This is one I violate constantly because I let my animals in the bed and I am allergic to them. However, if you're trying to have the best sleep hygiene possible, you keep allergens, including the critters, out of your bedroom. So you're not stuffy, you're not sniffling, you're not coughing at night. And for some people, so you're not itching. You can also get a HEPA air purifier that you keep in your room and keep running to keep the dander and pollen and whatever else down in your room. Light. You want to have light at night about 2 hours before bed in the warm area where it's about 2500 Kelvin, which is a very low yellow kind of candlelight sort of light. And during the day, you want to have it brighter. But at night, you need to get rid of that blue light. On your mobile devices, get a blue light filter. If you watch TV at night, the easiest thing to do is get glasses that block blue light. It helps your brain register that it is time to start winding down. Blue light is associated with daytime. Non-blue light is associated with night. And sanctuary. Again, didn't know what to call it, but you want to have your bedroom feel like a safe, welcoming place. You don't want to have noises that irritate you or startle you. You don't want to have stressful things associated with your bedroom. And you want to feel safe. What do you need to do? For me, I don't like having my blinds open at night. It just feels creepy to me that people could potentially come by and look in my bedroom. You know, we live out on a farm. Chances of that happening are slim. But it's one of those ingrained things in my psyche. You don't want people being able to watch you while you're sleeping. So I keep my blinds drawn. I shut my door. There are things that I do that help me feel safe. I have my bed oriented so I can see all the entrances and exits from my room. That's a feng shui intervention, but it is very helpful. I've created an environment in my room that feels safe to me. In order to get to sleep, you need to feel safe. You need to be able to downregulate and get into that peaceful state. You can do that by shortening your naps, paying attention to your ergonomics, emptying your bladder before you go to bed, paying attention to the temperature, making it cool so you can get good sleep, keeping a routine, a sleep routine, paying attention to allergens and trying to eliminate as many as possible from your bedroom, dimming the light and warming it to a yellowish tint and blocking blue light within 2 hours of bed, and making sure your room feels safe. All of these can help you get better sleep, and they're all represented in the acronym N.E.U.T.R.A.L.S. Naps, ergonomics, urinating, temperature, routine, allergens, light, and sanctuary. Anytime one of the systems of the body is out of whack, it triggers the stress response. In the next video, we're going to talk about the importance of hydration and how dehydration can trigger the stress response and impair your ability to think clearly and regulate your emotions.